You ever read a whole page, maybe even a whole chapter, and then you get to the end and realize you can't answer a single question about it? Yeah, it's a super common frustration. But here's the thing. It's not about how well you can read, it's about your strategy. So today we're going to dive into the techniques that help you go from just seeing words on a page to truly conquering the questions they throw at you. This quote just nails it, doesn't it? The real battle isn't the book itself. It's that little voice inside your own head asking, wait, did I actually get that? That's the question we're really here to conquer, and that's the real win. So how do we actually do it? Well, the great news is this isn't some secret talent you're born with. Not at all. It is all about strategy. We're going to break down a set of real, learnable techniques that, honestly, anyone can master to build that skill and, more importantly, that confidence. And that strategy, it starts right here, with a simple, but believe me, incredibly powerful game plan. Think of this as your warm-up routine before you tackle any piece of writing. It's designed to get you focused and ready for action. And let's be really clear about something. The goal isn't to read faster, it's to read smarter. Anytime you spend preparing, skimming, thinking about the text, rereading a bit, that is never wasted time. That's actually where you build the foundation for a real deep understanding. So, here it is, the routine in 4 simple steps. Step 1, just skim the text. Get a feel for the landscape, the general idea. Step 2, and this one is so important, skim the questions first. This totally primes your brain. It turns you from a passive reader into a detective who knows exactly what clues to look for. Only then, in step 3, do your close, careful read. And finally, step 4, you go back to each question, one by one, and scan the text for the specific answer you are now totally prepped to find. See? It's a system, and each step builds on the last. Okay, so once you've got a routine, the next layer of this is becoming an expert at decoding the questions themselves. Because, and you might not have thought about it this way, pretty much every question has a hidden instruction inside it. And that hidden instruction? It's called a command word. It's usually hiding in plain sight, right at the beginning of the question. Its whole job is to tell you exactly what kind of answer you need to give. Are you just finding a fact? Are you building an argument? The command word holds the key. And just look at how different these commands are. Identify or give is basically a scavenger hunt. Go find this one specific fact. But explain, that's a whole different level. It's asking for the how or the why behind something. And a word like suggest pushes you even further, asking you to make educated guesses based on the text. Learning to spot these is an absolute game changer. All right, theory's great, but let's make this real. The best way to learn is often to see where things can go wrong. So we're going to look at some real answers and the feedback they got. This is where we can see these techniques and the most common pitfalls in action. Okay, first up, a mistake that I think we have all made at some point, the vague answer. You know the one I'm talking about? It's not technically wrong, but it's so fuzzy and general that it doesn't really prove you understood the details. So check this out. The question is, describe the hotel's situation. The student's answer, it has a nice view. Okay, seems fine, right? But look at the feedback. Too vague. Why? Because the original text probably gave a super specific detail, like that the hotel was overlooking a lake. A strong answer doesn't just give a feeling. It grabs that specific piece of evidence from the text to prove its point. All right, let's look at another classic trap, especially when you're asked to define a word. I call this the circular answer. It's when you accidentally use the word you're supposed to be defining right in your definition. This example is perfect. The question? Explain the meaning of meditative. The answer given? It shows that Hector likes to meditate. You see the problem, right? It just uses another form of the same word, which doesn't actually show you understand it. The feedback hits the nail on the head. The right technique is to use your own words. Find synonyms like thoughtful or reflective. Okay, so we've seen what not to do. Enough of the pitfalls. What should we be aiming for? What does a really solid, high-quality answer actually look like? Now this is what we're talking about. The question asks to explain with extra vigor. The student answers he rang the bell quite violently, using more energy than needed. Let's break down why this is so good. First, it defines vigor using powerful synonyms. Violently, energy. But, and this is the killer detail, it also addresses the word extra by adding more energy than needed. It's precise, it covers every part of the phrase, and it uses original language. That is the goal. So let's pull all these threads together. We've talked about a reading routine, we've talked about decoding questions, and we've analyzed what makes an answer good or bad. Now it's all about putting these techniques into practice for yourself. So what's the big takeaway? It's this toolkit right here. You've got the 4-step routine to give you structure, you have the skill to decode command words to know what's being asked, you know you need to be specific and pull evidence from the text, and you know to use your own vocabulary when explaining a word. These are your tools. This is how you conquer the question. And that brings us to the final, and honestly, the most important question. This one's for you. Just watching this is a great first step, but real skill only comes from practice. So, look at this toolkit and decide right now, which one of these techniques are you going to consciously focus on this week? Because your path to conquering the question doesn't start with knowing all this stuff. It starts with doing it. So, what's your first step?